So I decided to step back a bit, and with this Thunder Compares, I decided to make this a much more basic Thunder Compares. So I still added the Thunder Compares background and everything, but other than that, it was just mainly showing footage and all that stuff, so it wasn't really anything too complicated, but it was more of a basic Thunder Compares than anything. The scripting process began around mid-June. Around this time, I actually was working on the next Thunder Compares, and I was just gathering all my thoughts with this next Thunder Compares. The scripting process took about a month, because I actually was able to get this script done in like about a month, and the filming process I think took about like maybe a week or maybe less or something. However, what I found really interesting is that the editing process, I was able to get the whole editing done all in one day, which actually really benefited me, because that means that I could have actually released this Thunder Compares, and at the time I think I was very close to finishing the next Thunder review, so it was really cool to be able to get both the Thunder Compares and both Thunder reviews out in the same month, and honestly, I'm very happy that it did end up happening. It was around this time that I was working on the Rio 2016 Countdown, which at the time, the Rio 2016 Countdown was a very basic format, so making the Rio 2016 Countdown didn't really take any time, honestly. It was just, I already had the commentary set and ready, so all I really had to do is just basically do like maybe around 5 minutes of editing, and boom, it was done. So it wasn't really anything too complicated. So while those 5 minutes of me editing the Rio 2016 Countdown, the rest of the time I had left is I was working on the next Thunder Compares and the next Thunder reviews and all that stuff. So it wasn't really anything that took away time. I was just able to get this Thunder Compares down in time, and I was able to get it done in around August. So honestly, there's really not much to say other than that this is a basic Thunder Compares, and it was going to show what a basic Thunders would be like, because that was the original intent for Thunder Compares, was that it was going to be something basic, but I started to get more elaborate, and I think this video shows of what Thunder Compares would have been like for the first video. So honestly, this video is alright for its time. So the next up in line was the Lion King video, and this video had a really long production time, because as much as I want to say that this production started around August of 2016, I actually had this in mind around April of 2016. So originally what I wanted to do is that I wanted to make this video right after the old versus new Spider-Man video, but unfortunately I had another idea in mind, and that was able to come in much more quicker. So things came out really odd at this time. So I do have a first draft of the Lion King video, and I was actually going to use this and come back to it, but as I read the script more and more, it was just not the greatest. I mean, honestly, the script wasn't that great. The format wasn't really that well. I mean, it could have been done, honestly. I mean, it was quite normal for its time. It was quite a normal Thunder Compares for its time, but I decided to scrap it and decided to rewrite the whole script entirely. So that's really much it about the whole pre-production phase. As for the post-production, when things start to get into the editing, this is what happened. You see, at the time, which was around September, when my computer decided to crash and all that stuff, there was a month of period where I did not have a computer. So during that month of period, I slowly started to get demotivated, and by the time I finally got a computer, I was completely demotivated at this point in time. So trying to get the unfriended review and all that stuff was going to be really difficult. So it just went through constant of months and months and months apart that I just got demotivated more and more, and there was actually a point in time where I actually wanted to cancel this Thunder Compares. But around the summertime, I decided to push through this video, and I was able to get this Thunder Compares done in time for before the summer ended. So I'm glad that this was actually done before the summer ended, because that was my original plan, and for me, it was like one day before summer ended, so I was glad that this video was done. So there's really not much to say about this Thunder Compares in particular. It was just kind of just a basic, I mean, aside that, it was just a huge hiatus. There wasn't really too many revisions. There wasn't really too much stuff going on in between. So I'd say that although it is one of the best Thunder Compares I've done on this channel to this day, I think that the next Thunder Compares I have in mind will be just as good. What in the living balls does that even mean? Oh well, welcome back to another Thunder Compares, a series where I compare two stories, movies, games, and many more. Both The Lion King and Lion King 2 Simba's Pride are really great movies. I mean, there are likable characters and both movies have a very great story. But if you were to ask me which of the two movies do I like the best, well, that's a really hard question for me because I like both of these movies and having to decide which of the two movies do I like better would be nearly impossible. Nothing's impossible! What the flip? Where did you come from? Remember you let me live inside your house? Oh yeah. Well, get the balls out of here. I'm in the middle of making a video. Fine, you stupid child. Jeez, why does everyone have to come out of nowhere like that stupid robot? Oh well. I'll be comparing these two movies with 5 different categories, and those 5 categories are the songs, the antagonists, the characters, the action, and last but not least, the better king. Why did I say the better king? Well, both Simba and Mufasa were kings. Mufasa taking the main priority of the king for the first 30 to 40 minutes in the first movie, and Simba taking the priority of being king for the second movie. But there's a lot of things that I want to say and compare between the two. Without further ado, let's start comparing with the first category being the songs. Now I will say, both movies have their own taste in terms of songs in these movies. But the main element that will make a huge impact is the tone and the amount of catchy parts during the two movies' songs. I mean, in the first movie, we do have really great songs added towards this movie, like The Circle of Life, I Just Can't Wait to Be King, Be Prepared, and so many other more music. As in for the second movie, there's loads of variety in terms of tone. There's music like We Are One that are happy and peaceful, compared to music like We Are Not One, where it leads to discrimination, if that's the best word to describe this song. I don't know. So honestly, this is pretty difficult to actually decide which of the two movies are better. But for the most part, I find the first movie to have more better songs than the second movie. I mean, songs like Be Prepared and The Circle of Life are just way more memorable than the songs in Lion King 2. I mean, when you think of The Circle of Life, you think of an old monkey carrying a newborn lion. When you think of I Just Can't Wait to Be King, you think of a bunch of animals surrounding 2 lions that will soon get married. And Be Prepared just probably reminds you of a father's death that will happen, if that's the best way to put it. But in the second movie, I feel like the music don't seem memorable. I feel like the music sometimes doesn't even have something that will make you think off the top of the head that it's from The Lion King 2. So honestly, the first movie wins this category. Alright, we got the songs out of the way, let's get out the villains, because, I mean, let's be honest, what movie does not have a villain? Oh gosh, where do I begin? The Fault in Our Stars, Paperman, The Big Year, Children in Heaven, Ghost World, Like Crazy, Naked, Begin Again, Boyhood, Lost in Translation, The Kings of Summer. I'm talking about good movies that have no villains. And besides, all those movies suck balls. Well, The Children of Heaven was pretty good. I mean, I don't care if you think that. How about you go watch some Star Wars or Deadpool or other movies? You know, now that you said that, I'm gonna go watch Deadpool. Finally. Now, the villains, I'll be honest, was kind of an easy pick. I mean, Scar really does represent a great Disney villain. I mean, he does what rarely a villain would do, and that is kill the main protagonist. And he almost does it at the end of the movie when Simba and Scar are at Pride Rock. Except that Scar manages to do something stupid which ruins Scar's plan of killing Simba. But other than that, Scar is just a superior villain in Disney. As in for Zira, it seems that she didn't really do a good job with the army of lions that she had. I mean, all that the lions wanted was to be part of Pride Rock, and what Zira does is tells them to go kill them, which seems a bunch of bullcrap because that's not what the lions wanted to do in the first place. Heck, even Scar manages to get into Pride Rock, and he didn't threaten any lions there. I mean, sure, he killed Mufasa, but he only did it to become king. As in for Zira, she could have only killed Simba, and that would have been it. And there would be no point in killing the rest of the lions. But if she did want to be part of Pride Rock, then like the end of the movie, Kira could have solved it all, and Zira could have joined forces with Simba, and that would have been the end. But Zira refuses and goes on and tries to kill Simba, which fails to the point where she dies. Honestly, I don't know what to say, but all that I have to say is that the first movie wins this category. Now, I will be honest. The characters are kind of hard one to rate because, well, let's just say that there's not much differences between the first and second movie. Oh my god, it's a freaking rat! Oh, thank goodness. I shot that rat.